Welcome to our latest explainer of the source texts. Today, we're unpacking something truly profound, the spiritual mechanics of karma. And more specifically, we're going to look at how a practice known as true repentance is literally the key to resolving disasters, passing life's tests, and ultimately altering our destiny. Understanding this framework of cause and effect is absolutely crucial. So often in life, we feel completely at the mercy of fate, right? Just getting tossed around by random hardships. But as you'll see, the texts reveal a highly structured, logical system behind our suffering. And the best part? They give us the exact blueprint for taking back control. To kick things off, think about this quote from the ancient philosopher Zhuangzi. He perfectly captures that feeling of powerlessness we all get sometimes. He said, "Originally, I did not wish to be born, but suddenly I was born. Originally, I did not wish to die, but suddenly death arrived." It just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? We arrive without asking, and we leave without warning. We often feel helplessly trapped in this endless cycle of birth, death, and unpredictable suffering, with absolutely no agency. But it's exactly this lack of control that makes the study of karma and repentance so essential if we want to liberate our minds. All right, let's dive into Section 1, the cycle of suffering, 60,000 years of debt. Let's figure out the real root cause behind human suffering. Now, what's truly fascinating here is the specific time frame the source texts give us, 60,000 years. Let that sink in for a second. The texts explain that our current hardships, sudden illnesses, severe misfortunes, they aren't just bad luck. They're the ripening of a massive, ancient karmic debt. Over 60,000 years of continuous birth and death, we've racked up this immense ledger of actions, both good and bad. So carrying the weight of thousands of lifetimes means every single action has echoed through eternity to reach us right here, right now, as an unavoidable spiritual debt. To make sense of our daily struggles, the sources say we absolutely have to distinguish between two things: disasters and tests. So disasters are external calamities. They're heavy karmic warnings, usually the direct result of collective karma or huge unrepented mistakes from our past. Tests, on the other hand, are totally internal. They're intricate challenges, spiritual purifications designed by higher realms to check if our hearts are true and to help us level up spiritually. Both come from our karma, sure, but they serve fundamentally different purposes in our spiritual growth. Which brings us to Section 2. What is true repentance, beyond a simple apology? If we really carry 60,000 years of karmic baggage, how do we ever escape its crushing weight? Well, the definitive answer in the texts is true repentance, and it's not just saying, "I'm sorry." It's a highly specific three-step framework. Step 1, you need a profound realization and sincere confession of your fault from the absolute bottom of your heart. Step 2, an unwavering, ironclad commitment to never ever repeat that mistake. And step 3, this is the crucial one. You must actively create merit to repay the karmic debt. Just apologizing doesn't balance the cosmic ledger. Creating merit means going out there and doing virtuous deeds, helping others, spreading wisdom. You have to mathematically offset the negative debt you've accrued. Okay, let's look at Section 3, the mechanics of karma, and the saltwater metaphor to really visualize how this spiritual mechanism functions in practice. First, we've got to ask a pretty provocative question. Can we truly just erase our karma? Since cause and effect is an absolute law of the universe, can repentance just magically wipe this slate clean? The texts are incredibly clear on this. No way. Not even the highest divine beings can just snap their fingers and erase your karma. The cosmic debt always has to be paid. But, and this is a massive but, the specific way it gets paid changes absolutely everything. Imagine your 60,000-year karmic debt is a spoonful of salt. If you drop that spoonful of salt straight into a tiny little glass of water, what happens? The water is completely undrinkable, right? That small glass represents an unrefined, unrepentant mind. When intense karma hits a narrow, rigid mind, the suffering is super concentrated. It's overwhelming, agonizing, and honestly, entirely unbearable. It just leads to despair and even more karmic baggage. But what if you take that exact same spoonful of salt, that exact same heavy karmic debt, and toss it into a vast, vigorously flowing river? It barely changes the taste of the water at all. By practicing true repentance and continuously creating merit, you dynamically expand your spiritual capacity. You literally transform your mind from a fragile little glass into a massive, powerful river. The salt still falls, the debt is technically paid in full, but because your capacity has grown so incredibly vast, the suffering is completely diluted. You barely even feel it. Let's see what this looks like in the real world. Moving to Section 4, Changing Your Destiny, the story of Liao Fan. So, Liao Fan was a renowned Ming Dynasty scholar, and his story is a perfect example of this karmic dilution. Early in his life, a master fortune teller mapped out his destiny with chilling accuracy. He was prophesied to have a very short life, passing away at exactly 53, and he was meant to have no heir. For years, he just accepted this grim fate. But then a Zen monk taught him the active mechanics of karma. The real turning point? He rigorously adopted true repentance and dedicated himself to creating merit. He meticulously recorded thousands of good deeds and completely overhauled his character. And guess what? He completely rewrote his tragic fate. He ended up living well past 69 and had a son to carry on his lineage. He took his concentrated salt and diluted it into a massive river, a real game changer. To enact this kind of profound change for ourselves, we turn to Section 5, the action plan, cultivating the three minds. The texts give us the specific psychological framework we need. First up is the mind of shame. Now, I know in our modern world, shame has a really toxic reputation, but the ancient texts redefined it completely. Here, the mind of shame means recognizing your deep-seated faults as a powerful driving force for change, not as some source of paralyzing humiliation. Acknowledging a huge mistake is actually seen as the ultimate act of courage. It's the engine for your transformation, burning away the ego and leaving only this fierce, unstoppable desire to be better. Second is the mind of reverence. This is all about maintaining a healthy, highly respectful fear of repeating your past mistakes. It means you deeply respect the absolute laws of heaven, the inescapable mechanics of cause and effect. This keeps us totally grounded. It ensures our repentance isn't just empty words, where we casually apologize today and then arrogantly do the exact same thing tomorrow. With true reverence, you finally understand the cosmic stakes at play. And finally, we have the mind of courage. This is all about immediate, decisive action. Because realizing you're wrong, it's completely useless unless you bravely and immediately take steps to fix it. No hesitation, no procrastination, no self-doubt. When you're dealing with a 60,000-year-old karmic debt, every single second you delay just allows that concentrated suffering to solidify even more. You need the courage to instantly change your behavior and start building that merit right now. So, let's wrap this all up. What's the main thing you should take away from this? Your destiny is absolutely not locked in. To change it, you first have to recognize karma for what it truly is, an ancient, massive debt from thousands of lifetimes. You need to know if you're facing an external disaster or an internal test, and never, ever forget that saltwater metaphor. True repentance plus active merit creation literally dilutes your suffering. You hold the ultimate power to rewrite your own story, just like Liao Fan did, by cultivating those three minds of shame, reverence, and courage every single day. Think about a lotus flower. It rises up, pure, luminous, and completely untainted from the dark, thick mud below. That mud, that's our 60,000 years of accumulated past karma. It's a dark entanglement we all have to grow through. We can't avoid the mud, but we absolutely do not have to be defined by it. So the question you have to ask yourself today is this: are you ready to boldly use the power of true repentance to expand your mind into a vast river, rise above the muddy waters of your past, and take total control of your spiritual destiny?